You can use a ball, a rolled up towel, or a pillow, whatever you have, and definitely something else for some head support so that you can make sure that you set yourself up for success. You're gonna start resting on your back. If you want head support to start, you can certainly use that, and if not, you don't have to use it. You're gonna take my ball and I'm gonna place it pretty close to my pubic bone between my thighs. And we're just gonna breathe, and you're gonna inhale. As you exhale, you're gonna hug whatever you've got between your thighs, draw your belly in and back, pelvic floor and belly working together, in, back, and up to curl your pelvis under. So pelvic tilts, curling your pelvis towards your face. Inhale, let your pelvis release at least to a kind of more neutral place, if not even going forward to where you're spilling, pointing your tail into the ground, your pubic bone down to your ground. Exhale, curl the pelvis under. I think about soup being in my low belly, and I'm spilling the soup towards my navel. And then inhale, you're spilling your soup out through your pubic bone. Noticing if it's somewhat symmetrical or wildly asymmetrical. Exhale as you curl under. Inhale as you go forward. Make sure you're not gripping in your hips or your glutes just yet. We are going to give them an opportunity to do work after this next pelvic tilt. This is just to connect your exhale, breath, belly, midline as you hug everything in and back. Inhale, releasing forward. If you're using head support, just slide it to the side because we're going to just move this right into bridging. You're going to exhale, hug whatever you've got between your thighs, curl the pelvis under, slowly press down through your feet, lifting up, reaching the knees out over the toes, making sure your neck is not taking the weight that your shoulders and your feet need to be using. And then you're going to exhale on your way down, rolling, rolling, rolling. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, hugging everything center. So I'm hugging feet, inner thighs, hips, and I'm curling my pelvis. And then I just keep building on that curl to lift up, opening the front of my hips as I work the back of my hips. And slowly rolling down, massaging your back as you do so. And exhale, hugging center, curling the pelvis, pressing up into your bridge, breathing at the top. And exhaling as you sequence the movement of your spine, massaging the back and the spine down onto the mat the best that you can. 2 more. Exhale, hugging, curling the pelvis, belly's pulling back into the center and up towards your heart a little bit so there's a little zipper action. And then you're going to slowly roll down, letting your organs in your belly just kind of hollow back as you release down. And 1 more like that. Exhale, hug to center, curling under, pressing into the feet, lifting up. Let's just stay here for a moment. Really feel the weight balance between your feet and your upper back, hugging everything really parallel. Make sure your ribs are not separated, like they're separated, of course, in the front, but make sure they're not flaring open. You're really hugging everything, even at the rib cage and the waistline to center. And you're just going to inhale and kind of hot potato the butt down on the mat and come right back up for 1. Working through the hip joint. Hug and lift 2. Exhale, lift 3. And 4. They don't have to be big. Notice which foot you like to have more pressure or more work in. And now that connects all the way up into your glutes. 6, breathing 7, and 8, 2 more, 9, and 10, and then gently rolling down, kind of pulling your butt towards your feet as you let that spine drop all the way down and rest. From there, you're going to take the ball, or if you're using a pillow or a towel, kind of roll it up so it can create a little seam for you to stretch back over. I'm going to take the ball. I'm going to place it probably like middle, lower rib cage. And everyone has a real sweet spot that's the best place for them. And I'm going to see, is it center or I'm a little lopsided? I do have a little scoliosis. So if you have that too, center might feel pretty uneven. I'm going to support my head and neck and make sure that the shoulder blades are not collapsing onto the ball or the towel or the pillow. And you're just going to let this allow you to kind of go back into extension. And this is where you really can play with the placement to make sure you're maximizing your setup, like you're using your setup to maximize the awareness that it's giving you and the work that you're going to be doing. So I'm keeping my knees bent because that's what's right for my back. You might prefer to have the legs out straight. Just activate the legs. So if the legs are straight, flex the feet, dig the heels in. If the knees are bent, feet planted, pull slightly with the feet so your pelvis stays stable as you slowly curl up. And when I curl up, I'm not just pulling my neck. I am sinking my ribs back into that ball, lengthening and curling up from that rib cage, right? So that way I'm really getting this sense of how my rib cage is lifting my head, not my neck and head. And then you're going to curl up again for 2. Inhale, going back. Now, sometimes going back over the ball is a little bit extreme. So you might use a combination of, a ball or the towel somewhere in the middle of your rib cage, and then you might have another towel for your head so you don't go back as far. And when you come up, I don't want you to crazy hunch forward. It's not about how high you come up. It's really about getting those rib cage back to a neutral position. Inhale, going back. Exhale, coming up. Inhale, going back. Only the amount that's right for you. Exhale as you come up. Every time I exhale and come up, I'm still thinking, exhale, deep breath, belly hugging in, and then these superficial layers really help me as I curl up. 2 more. Last one. Curling up, stay up there. Reach your arms on either sides of your legs. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. You can breathe into those ribs behind you, pulling your belly in, and then just breathe and pump the arms slowly as you breathe in for just 5 counts, and then you exhale, pulling the belly out. So really, really, really deeply modified 100, but it's going to be more like maybe the 20. Inhale, exhale. Let's go for 30. Let's do one more. Inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. And then from there, you can roll back and roll to your side, or if your spine is okay with this, you grab your thighs and you help yourself all the way up. Take the ball to the side, either roll to your side and lay down, or grab your legs and roll all the way down. If you've got head supports, slide it underneath your head. Make sure you're going to use those abdominals to keep your ribs really snug onto the mat, letting the rib cage really stay grounded and wide on the mat. What part of your belly do you need to work the most to find that? You're going to bring your arms down by your side, feet together. You're going to inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to pull into center. So that hugging center, pelvic floor belly, lift your heels up. And then if possible, lift either one leg or both legs up to a tabletop position so that you have a 90-degree bend at the knee and a 90-degree bend at the hip. Now notice if your back came off the mat. Did your ribs come off the mat? Did your shoulders round forward? Let your shoulders drop. Work your belly to get the ribs down. And we're just going to do marching. So you could do lazy marching and just let the feet drop and make it easy and really be fastidious with your alignment. So you're going to tap one toe down, the other toe down. So this would just be the easy variation, right? If you want to do even easier, you could just keep one foot down the whole time, do one side and then switch. You keep the knees really lazy, or you can bring a lot of shape into it, holding the leg shape. Just increases the weight of the leg. So you're just having more weight pulling on your pelvis, pulling on your spine. And do you have the core strength to stabilize against that? And do you have the breath awareness and coordination as you do this? So marching. Use those abdominals that you've already been connecting into from the very first thing. Pelvic tilts, bridging, still hugging center, the curling over the ball. So all of those layers are woken up. Now you're using it for stability. Breathing in and out. 3 more sets. If you're already feeling it, like your back is taking over because maybe your abdominals are still building strength, just rest before that. And last one. And then bring your knees into your chest. Hug a little side to side, and you're gonna roll to your side there. Line yourself up with the back edge of the mat. You may or may not want your head support for that. And you're gonna bring your feet towards the front corner of your mat. So from head to tail is with the back edge of the mat. My feet come forward. I'm gonna get a little bit of turnout. I'm gonna lift my top leg up. I'm gonna flex that foot and bring it back. And as I bring that top leg back, I am gonna roll it parallel. I'm just gonna look up and make sure my ankle is in alignment with my heel, like heel, ankle, hip, kind of all trying to be alignment. So I'm opening up the front, working this back. I'm gonna stabilize my waist and hip as I lift the top leg up and lower down. So when I lift and lower this leg, I'm not hiking and dropping. I'm keeping my spine stable. Use those abdominals you just used in the marching. Maybe like 30% of what you were using in the marching exercise you need to use here to keep yourself stable. And so now the leg movement can really be in the hip joint and your glutes are firing. You got about 3 more. 2 and 1. You're going to hold that leg up there where you feel your glutes working. Stretch your leg really long. Point, turn out. And then you're going to bring that leg to hover above the bottom leg. Now we're going to do kicks. No rocking and rolling. Take your hand on the mat if you need to. Use the belly. Keep the pelvis to head really long. You're going to flex and kick your leg a little forward. Exhale, point and drag that leg back. Flex, inhale, forward. Point, exhale, bring it back. Inhale, flex, kick forward. Point, exhale, bring it back. Flex, inhale, forward. Point, exhale, bring it back. Just 1 more. And bring it back. Hold there. Reach your leg long. Bring the bottom leg and the top leg together. Bend the knees. Use your arms to come up. Swing your legs around to the other side. Once your legs are out towards that front corner and your pelvis to head with the back edge of the mat, check in, make sure you've got some belly work, right? So a little bit of that core work. Legs are slightly turned out. You lift the top leg, you bring it back, and as you bring it back, it goes parallel. You're gonna flex that foot. I like to imagine my foot on a wall. I'm gonna slowly slide it up the wall. Try not to hike, so I'm not losing contact with my imaginary wall. And then lower down. And lifting up. I'm going to keep my hand on my belly. So I'm like, okay, pelvis, ribs, belly. Are you working and staying stable as I get this side to side movement in my hip joint, which is how I get my glutes to fire well. Keep going. 3 more. 2 more. Last one like that. Hold there. Point, bring that leg forward and slightly turn it out. Just hold there with that top leg hovering above the bottom leg. Check in with your length of both sides of your waist. Your rib cage, is it contained? And you're going to flex that foot. You're going to kick forward. You're going to point and drag that leg back. Flex. Inhale, kick forward. Point. Exhale, drag it back. Inhale, kick forward. Exhale, kicking back. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. 1 more. And back and hold there. Stretch your leg longer than you think. Belly working. Bring the legs together. Bend your knees. And from here, you're going to roll over onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, if you've got a ball, then you're going to use it at your breastbone. So not at your ribs or your soul. Don't knock the breath out of yourself. I'm going to use it at the breastbone, the chest. If you don't have a ball, you certainly do not need to use one. You could use nothing at all, right? You could roll up a pillow or a towel. I'm going to make sure that I'm not dumping my belly too loose on the mat. So I'm going to push the front of my pelvis into the mat, pull my belly in a little bit away from the mat. I'm going to keep my forehead and hands glued together. I'm going to lift my elbows off. So I've got a little bit of that glute and hamstring work, front of the pelvis anchored, belly working. Forehead and hands are going to stay glued together as my elbows are off the mat, shoulders are dropping down, and I'm going to inhale as I come up so that my inhale pushes my chest, in my dream scenario, pushes your chest into the ball and helps you lift up. As I exhale, I'm going to lengthen and wrap around the ball. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lengthen and round over the ball. 2 more. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lengthen. So if you're not using the ball, use the mat. Think I'm going to inhale and push my breastbone and my top ribs into the mat to kind of engage and lift my chest. And then as I exhale, I'm going to lengthen and sink deeper into the mat. Then we're going to take our hands underneath your shoulders. You're going to take a big breath in. As you exhale, pull your belly, pull your organs away from the mat. Keep your glutes engaged, push through your arms, and lift up to your hands and knees. If you need to take a little counter stretch back into child's pose, please do so. And then what we're going to do is a little bird dog, right? So just we've got a little bit of mobility, gentle, very safe mobility at the beginning, and then a lot of stability after this. So hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, hug the arms and the legs to center. And you could even think about pulling the hands to the legs and the legs to the hands. On your first exhale, you're going to think, pull your belly in and up as you slide one leg back. Just hold there and check in. Did you dump? Did you crease? Did you rotate? Try and keep everything centered. That's the point. So that breath-belly connection, take the time to find it. Use your hamstrings and glutes. So opposite arm is going to stretch out. And I just want you to hold there and think, breathe in. Exhale, pelvic floor, belly, pulling in and up to stabilize everything. And at the very end of your exhale, float your arm and leg up. Inhale as you tap it down. Exhale. At the very end, you lift up. Inhale. Maybe you give yourself a count, a mental count of, maybe I do a 4 count. And the first 2 counts, I'm just connecting to that belly work. And the second 2 counts, I'm lifting the arm and leg up. Inhale down. One more time. Exhaling. And then bring the arm in, bring the leg in. Take a moment and center. Hug the arms and legs to center. Hug the arms and legs towards each other. Slide the other leg out. Take an inhale. As you exhale, make sure your ribs aren't sinking, your navel's not sinking. Slide the opposite arm out. Take an inhale there. Exhale, pelvic floor belly. Reach the arm and leg out and up. Inhale down. Stability is the name of the game here. Exhale, take the time to do your breath belly connection. Lift the arm and leg out. Inhale down. Exhale, reach and lift. Inhale down. Exhale, reach and lift. Inhale down. Bring the arm down, bring the leg down. Take the ball or whatever you're working with between your thighs. Walk the knees back a little bit. Walk the hands a little forward and a tiny bit wider. You're going to pull forward as you hug whatever you've got between your thighs so that you're not collapsing your sacrum. You're hugging the inner thigh to inner thigh. You're bringing your shoulders over your hands. You're lifting your head, your ribs and chest. You're going to keep your organs supported. So a lot of belly support to not let the spine sag, but your hips have to work too. You're just going to hold there and think, can I hold this? Can I breathe? Can I breathe and hold this? Tuck your toes when you're ready. And on your next exhale, you're going to keep the glutes working. You're going to reach your heels back, and you're just going to pop your knees off because you reached your heels back. Inner thighs are still facing each other. You're pulling your belly in and up. You're holding your plank. You're getting your ribs and your head nice and light. Pelvic floor and belly are drawing in, back, and up. Hips are still stretching and engaging. One more breath. Bring your knees down. Take the ball to the side. Stretch back. Take a nice deep breath in, allowing your belly, the sides of your body, and your back to stretch. Exhale, let all the air out. Kind of exhale even more than you think. Keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling, keep exhaling. Get all the old air out. And when you can't breathe out anymore, then inhale one more time. This time when you exhale, pull your belly away from your thighs. Bring your hands by your legs and start to roll up. Taking your time to roll your pelvis to neutral, meaning pubic bone, hip bones level, rib cage over the pelvis, shoulder girdle neck, and head.
And there is your simple daily Pilates-based routine that you could use anytime. Again, use it daily. Remember, it doesn't matter how much time, it just really matters that you stay consistent with any sort of practice. And these kinds of movements are wonderful for maintaining what you have, but also conditioning and any kind of cross training. So say you're a runner or you like to walk, but you're starting to have some aches or pains show up. Try using this fairly regularly and see if it helps balance things out. All right, until next time, keep moving.